It's a well-known fact that the internet is like 99% porn, 1% people biding their time until they want to watch porn again. But what if I told you that buried somewhere deep within this wretched hive of cum and villainy, nestled neatly between Mommy Makeout Day and Spider-Man and Elsa file for divorce again, there's a lone, wholesome sanctuary.
Catch a ride!
It's just a YouTube video floating there like a restaurant at the edge of the universe type beat. Looks like this, unassuming thumbnail of some intertwining vines, fully Japanese title, posted by a YouTube channel called Taya777 with no profile picture. I mean, it's nearly unsearchable. But you're not meant to find it. It finds you. Should you be curious enough to click it, you'll be greeted with a subtle remix of You'll be greeted with a subtle remix of Stickerbush Symphony from Donkey Kong Country 2. For the uninitiated, it sounds like this. It's nice, it's almost nostalgic, even if you've never played the game. But what's so special about some remix of some song from some 25-year-old video game where monkey get banana? Surprisingly enough, it's the comments. If you scroll down on this video, you will find the most beautiful treasure trove of people telling their own stories. And I don't mean like fiction. This became a place for people to reflect and just bear it all out for the world to see in the comments of this random YouTube video. It's akin to that moment in a game when you've just gotten out of a close scrape, or you're about to head into the boss fight, or you could just use some well-deserved rest. A checkpoint. And people embrace this parallel. Every time the video found them, they would post a checkpoint detailing where they were in their life's personal journey. Maybe things were falling apart and they just needed someone to talk to. Or they had a big decision to make and could use some advice. Or maybe things were starting to look up and they wanted to post their story as a beacon to show others you're not alone and it gets better. I would be remiss not to mention that this past year has been a little bit fucky wucky. It hit everybody hard, myself included. And although this video was posted in 2012, it found me right in the thick of 2020. And judging by a bunch of the other checkpoints, this was the case for a large portion of the video's 70,000 odd comments. In the midst of a global shit show, this became a place where you could just talk about the big things and seek support, or talk about the little things and just forget the big ones for a while. At this point, you're probably wondering, well, Ben, if these comments are so amazing that they made a jaded piece of shit like you go, when did this turn into Beautiful World? How come you haven't shown us any? And there's two reasons why I haven't done that. These comments are people wearing their hearts on their sleeves, having the courage to make themselves vulnerable in front of the literal millions who came across this video. I mean, as silly as it sounds, this kind of became a bit of a digital time capsule where people could tuck away their successes and their woes and store them in this little internet pocket dimension. My intention in making this video is to send people towards the checkpoints, to give back to this space rather than to take from it. So to me, it feels somewhat exploitative if I were to yoink comments and put them in my own video. As of just a few days ago, that was my only reason. You're not gonna like this second explanation. On June 16th, 2021, Nintendo copy struck nearly every single one of Taya's videos, including the checkpoint video. All those comments, all those memories tucked away in a place once thought untouchable, gone. It was a sanctuary where people could shout into the void and say, hey, I existed, and so do you. It reminds me a lot of the Voyager probes. They were two tiny, insignificant satellites that we catapulted into the depths of space randomly, each one clutching a golden record which documented history, our culture, our languages, our scientific advancements, all in the hopes that on the off chance an alien were to find one of them, they would go, damn, I'd party with these dudes. Now it's like Nintendo realized we put the Space Jam Dire Dire Dogs mashup on one of the records, so they nuked them both from orbit. All gone in the snap of a finger. Though I never posted a checkpoint myself, a fact that I regret. I also had a personal stake in all this. See, Taya had quite a few more videos than just the one. They were all extended video game soundtrack remixes. I mean, you could find the odd checkpoint here and there in each of them, but for the most part, they were just excellent mixes. And there was one in particular that I would listen to day in and day out. It was this remix of the Dialga fight theme from Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I mean, I would listen to this thing anytime I had to grind on a project, pull an all-nighter, or just go absolute fucko mode on an exam. Anytime I had something challenging ahead of me, I was better for it with my big dog Dialga screaming in my ear. But with these copy strikes, almost all of Ty's videos went down, including that song. But I wasn't going down without a fight. So I got to work. I found a Taya777 subreddit, which led me to a Discord, which brought me to another Discord with a few like-minded folks, and boom, we were in it. We immediately got to work trying to access any of the blocked videos, or at least salvage the tens of thousands of comments that were gone, seemingly forever. Step one in this operation was to try to find any countries that didn't respect Nintendo's copyright jurisdiction. Then we copped a VPN and fucking Naruto teleport jitsu'd over there. We went to Kosovo. You know we hit up Cyprus. I thought that was a type of tree. We put up all those Starlink satellites so we could give mini-clip to the goddamn Ewoks. And you know we did a stint with our gamers in fucking Somalia. In the meantime, I enlisted the help of a good friend to try and track down the Dialga song. We listened to every single remix of it we could find. We reverse image searched the thumbnail and visited each and every one of the 357 results. At one point, we ended up on an Arabic news website chasing a paper-thin lead of a rip of the video. And suddenly, someone from the Discord found a website that indexes YouTube comments, and it worked on the checkpoint video, completely circumventing the copyright block. We could see and read every single comment from that video, but if it were to suddenly go from blocked to completely deleted, we would be back at square one, do not pass go, do not collect $200. So, seeing that this worked, I tried to make my own Java shit that scrapes comments and puts them in an Excel spreadsheet. The only problem was, I had never written JavaScript before. On the flip side, my friend and I continued to scour every single corner of the internet for any sign of my sweet little time doggy. I mean, we followed every trail to its bitter end. At one point, we got so desperate that we even consulted 4chan. I mean, we were truly, truly desperate. But we persevered. We dug all the way to bedrock, and then we dug through the damn bedrock. And then, that was it. The trail went cold. We had exhausted all of our leads, and with basically nothing to show for it. I mean, we found a few somewhat similar remixes, but they just weren't the same. I had even found a MIDI file of the original song and was fully prepared to try and make my own mix in a feeble attempt to try to resurrect the glory that once was. I had basically resigned to the fact that I was never going to hear those synthesizer arpeggios or that kick-ass sustained violin ever again. I listened to this song so many times over the past year and hadn't realized how much it meant to me until it was gone. And that was it. Until a Redditor on a tiny thread on r/data hoarder said he might know a guy who just might have the video backed up. Yes, sir. You smell that? It smells to me like a goddamn lead, baby. Oh! I tried not to hold out hope. Oh! I mean, we had been burned 100 times already, but deep down, my heartstrings were being played like those sweet, sweet MIDI violins. That's what I'm talking about. I kept working on the code until I couldn't hold my eyes open any longer, and then I turned in for the night. The next morning I woke up, checked my phone, and there it was. A Discord user called Rebane swooped in like a knight in shining Razor Chroma Discord Nitro RGB gaming armor and saved the day. I mean, dude had archives upon archives of every single Taya video. And just as a cherry on top, they had a .json Derulo file of almost all the comments too. We scoured every single corner of the internet, but failed to consider the fact that data hoarders are just built different, baby. This person is an absolute hero. They've done me a great service, and I believe they've done a service to the internet as a whole. Those videos and songs will be linked in the description alongside their comments if you want to check them out. Their archive did only go up to about April 7th, excluding like 2.5 months of comments, so I figured in for a penny and for a pound on the JavaScript code and finish that up as well. The resultant spreadsheet will be linked in the description below with every single checkpoint and reply ever made. Although we were able to recover these things, we can't really add to them anymore. They exist compartmentalized and will remain there until the inevitable heat death of the universe. Or until Google Drive shuts down, but I mean, come on. A content creator by the name of Johnny Razor made a great video on this topic. It's genuinely really good, and he talks about a lot of stuff I didn't have a chance to cover in this video. I'm gonna sprinkle the link to that in the description, and I highly suggest you check it out. Near the end of his video, he says this.
I don't know if something like this will ever happen again. It's very much a perfect storm of a video, the perfect conditions. It was something truly special. I don't necessarily think we need to revive it though. I think it's best left as a memory.
I respect that thought, but I'm inclined to disagree. I think the beauty of the checkpoints was that it was this completely dynamic, infinite picto chat where we could all deposit our worries and help our internet compatriots do the same. I'd like for this to just be the first chapter in an ever-expanding novel. It's time to lick our fingers nice and good and turn the page. There's still a couple videos left on Taya's channel, including one posted just a day or two before the strikening. It's a song from Chrono Trigger, so as long as we stay on Squeenix's good side, I don't think there's much to worry about. I figure this is as good a spot as any to start chapter 2. And it looks like I'm not the only one. So I guess there's nothing left for me to do here except leave a checkpoint of my own. I failed to leave my mark on the first chapter, but I won't make the same mistake twice. Before I go, I do have one little flavor to ask of you. Please be respectful. This is a sacred place, an oh so rare zone where it's apparent that there's actually a real person on the other side of that creeper profile picture. It's a diamond in the rough. Please, please, please don't barge into this digital temple and shit on the floor. Lord knows it's already been hit with a megacolon level of shit the past few days. And that's it. And that's the end of the video. I'm gonna film my checkpoint here as I record this, and I hope that it can offer you even a fraction of the solace I got from those stories on that humble little remix. And maybe you'll be compelled to make a checkpoint of your own. If you enjoyed this, please be sure to subscribe. I certainly enjoyed making it, and I plan on making a lot more like it in the future. If you notice that I pronounce Dialga differently every single time, and it's actually pronounced Zebulon with a silent Q, vomit that shit in the comments. Otherwise, stick around for some raw, unadulterated Ben. I graduate in 6 months. I was supposed to graduate this past May, but circumstances arose and sort of Hurricane Tortilla'd that whole thing up. In fact, some of what I've been dealing with this past while was the self-inflicted shame I felt about getting set back and watching many of my friends graduate without me. But now I see it as a blessing. If I were out of school right now, I have no idea what I'd be doing. Don't get me wrong, I'm gonna get this goddamn diploma or die trying, but I have absolutely no clue what I'll do once I secure the $100,000 glorified mousepad. I understand that I am incredibly fortunate to even have the opportunity to get a degree and have a good shot at a stable life. However, none of that detracts from the fact that every day I find myself less and less passionate about engineering and more passionate about creating content. I've got a lot of thinking to do, and I've already done a ton of thinking, much of it lurking in these very checkpoint comments. These stories have helped me so much, but now it's just about time for me to go into my own playthrough, blind. so I suppose a thank you is in order. Thank you to everyone reading this. You are the reason these comments are so magical. Thank you to everyone who posted checkpoints in the past. Seeing your stories gave me a strong dose of perspective in some uncertain times. Thank you to everyone who has supported my Twitch and my YouTube. This all started as a distraction, a coping mechanism for me. Without you, that mechanism wouldn't have functioned. And lastly, thank you to Taya, the faceless orchestrator of all this. I'm not even sure you understand the haven that you've created, and I'm certain you're not reading this, but on the off chance, thank you. You've impacted my life in ways I can't even articulate here, and I'm confident there are thousands of others out there who could say the same. Hey, do me a favor if you're still in Japan, yeah? Make sure Nintendo doesn't get their hands on any nuclear warheads.